Okay, so a lot of things that Ye says, especially headlines, need a lot of context. So Ye says he loves Hitler is a headline that I would say I wanted context for. So I watched the 3-hour interview. Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes, Kanye West, just to see if there was something redeemable, anything. How bad was it, the stuff he was saying? Was it just something in passing? Did he walk it back? To save you from watching that whole thing, he didn't walk it back. He said he loved Hitler several times, that he thought he was a cool guy, that he had a lot of redeeming features, but he didn't really say what they were. He didn't say like what he liked about Nazis or what he liked about Hitler. He just said that he liked them. It seemed more just like a shock value thing to say. It didn't really come off as any coherent argument or point that was made. It was just him kind of repeating that, Alex trying to walk him back and being unsuccessful. Alex was condemning Nazis and Hitler and using personal stories, and Ye was just doubling down. Nick Fuentes agreed with Ye. I don't really know anything about Nick Fuentes, so I can't really speak to him. I don't know much about Alex Jones either, to be fair. I just say that to say if I say something negative about him, it's just strictly based on what they said in this interview, not off like what I perceive their character to be or what other people say. Was there anything good that was said in this interview by Ye? Anything that redeemed anything? No. Can't remember the context to it, so I probably won't say that it was like a good point, but he referred to society as orphans of capitalism, which I'm not like anti-capitalistic, but I like that idea, like that we're in a system that is detrimental to us and that we don't really have anything to turn to. That was an idea that if he had fleshed that out a little bit more, I thought that would have been interesting, but he kind of skipped past it. But the idea that we're all orphans of capitalism. Another notable thing he said is that he doesn't really rock with anyone except for Ray J was the only person he brought up. And then later he added Uzi and Cardi to that list, Lil Uzi Vert and Playboy Cardi, which that was a little weird too. I understood the Cardi thing. I didn't understand the Uzi thing. I don't understand because they haven't really worked together a lot. Definitely Ye and Cardi. He also added Fabio Foreign to that list, which they have done several tracks together. So that was interesting that those 4 people, Ray J, Cardi, Uzi, and Fabio, were in that. He was kind of pushing the Jesus thing again in probably the most horrifying way possible, which was pretty unfortunate. He referred to himself as a battering ram and Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes having the information, in which he could not have made more clear in this interview because anytime Alex asked a good question to Ye, Ye just literally shamelessly pointed at Nick and was like, Nick, what do you think? Nick has the answer on that one. Anything about Ukraine, anything about inflation, foreign policy, Ye didn't have anything. It's literally the worst version of Kanye West to be president. As far as like starting your campaign trail on this sort of content, it seems pretty unbelievable. Worst part about the interview was Ye brought Yuhu and Annette and was saying that it was Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I don't follow that too much, but he's an Israeli leader that was denouncing Ye meeting with Trump. And so he was just like talking with baby voice, holding a net. Alex Jones gave him a courtesy laugh a couple times and then just totally ignored it. But it was cringe. It was so bad. A lot of bad sound bites. Ye at one point said Germany had a really cool leader. Again, not specifically saying anything that was cool about Hitler, just saying that it was cool. Trying to just back him up and support him. Nick agreed with Kanye about everything. The actual like sensible argument that is not happening around any of this, that is actually like what I believe Nick Fuentes is basing kind of his whole brand on and the ideas around anti-Semitism. He got into that a little bit and Ye was supporting that. But here's the issue is that it's a misguided idea over what actually Jewish culture is about. It would be like seeing the Westboro Baptist Church picketing and being like, okay, well, there's 30% of America is Christians or whatever the number is, and they all believe this thing. Where it's like, no. Like 200 people are part of this movement, this Westboro Baptist Church, and it's very different from mainstream Christianity. They refer to the Talmud a lot, which is like a Jewish text, but they referred to it like it was the Jewish Bible, which is not true. It's a really bad way to conceptualize it. What it really is just like a collection of debates from rabbis, and so it contradicts itself. It has a lot of wild ideas for the sake of displaying that there are wild ideas. It would be like recording sermons from pastors all across America and then putting them in a book. And you'd have some, nice things, and you'd have some good things, and you'd have some truthful things about Christianity, but you'd also have some wild things. You'd have Westboro Baptist Church. You'd have, some Joel Osteen sort of people. You'd have all these different hypocrites and things like that would make it seem like a bad book, but it's just a form of documentation and something you can fight against, something you can use to debate, because that's a big thing in much of Jewish culture as far as a religion goes, is there's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of debating, and that's a book that's used for that by some people. A lot of people just totally condemn it. A lot of more progressive Jewish people condemn it. But he was referring to that. That would have almost been a good point if there's something, he said, inherently baked into the cake of Judaism that makes lawyers and contract people treat non-Jewish people as less than. There's almost an argument for that being possible, but it's really just you're really grasping at straws. And with that same logic, you can make all sorts of assertions across all sorts of people group. That's just, one, it's not true. Two, it's misguided. And three, certainly it's not helpful. If you want context for the interview, don't watch it. Just understand that I was hoping for something better than a really sad interview, and what I watched was a really sad interview. Basically exactly what you'd expect. Ye is not walking back any of these things. This is the hill he's dying on. I imagine we won't be hearing about it in a couple months just because you'll have moved on to something else. If you do find the need to watch it, just watch the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes. The bulk of what happens is in there. The first time Ye mentions Hitler, and then towards the end, he kind of tries to say that, he just loves all people. He loves Jewish people. He loves Hitler. He loves everyone because everyone has value. But then he says stuff like, especially Hitler has value. And it's like, okay, well, that's like, what does that mean? You can't refer to anything specific, but it sounds like you're saying that white supremacy is good. That's the way a lot of people are going to take this, which wasn't what Ye said, but I don't know how else you take it. He also said he loved the doctor that killed his mother. At first, it sounded like he was saying that accidentally brought him the most grief in his life. He even loved that person. That is a beautiful thought, like the idea, and I think that's a tenet of Christianity, that even the people that hurt you, your enemies, you even love them. But then he referred to his mother dying as a sacrifice, with the Jewish mafia and this big sacrifice killing, and some other people that had died being referred to as a sacrifice. So then it was like, okay, well, we're lost there again. This doesn't really have anything to do with Christian tenets at all. So I'm a big fan of Ye's music. I've tried to support him for a long time. It's not even about condemning someone. It's just about I don't really want to listen to music and have in the back of my mind this guy was just saying he loves Hitler over and over again. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.